Everybody, I am Josh or Arrow.
I'm Brian.
Brian.
Yeah, because I never gave my tag last time.
This is the CrossPlay GameCast. It's episode 2. Hopefully it looks a little bit better than the last episode did. Last episode kind of looked like crap.
Yeah, we were sitting a little too far away last time.
Yeah, this time we're sitting up close to the mic, so we
With the table.
That way one of us doesn't sound like a audience member in the background, and the other one sounds like they're hosting the podcast by themselves.
Hey man, you got to talk to the director.
Just checking the audio.
Just running through everything, making sure everything's working fine one last time. And
yep, we got audio. We're good.
Good to go. Better than last time.
Yep. Hey, it took less time to do it this time.
That it did. That it did.
You need to sit closer to the mic.
Okay.
Don't kiss it.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, so this episode we got a couple topics we want to run through. First one, just gonna jump right into it. How about how games just aren't how they used to be anymore?
Oh man, ain't that the truth?
Because I remember, like back in the PS2 era, like when you bought the game, you got the game, the whole game, not a big chunk of the game, and then you had to buy the rest of the game after the fact as DLC or microtransactions. Because like we had, like I said, Jack and Daxter. You bought the game. Kingdom Hearts. You got the game. You bought the game. You got the game.
You had technically the rights to it at that point.
Yeah,
you own the game.
Yeah, now you buy the game and it's just a license that could literally be taken away at any moment if there's an issue with copyright with the game or the music or the publisher itself, which it hasn't happened yet, but I think that's the path that we're kind of going down. Because if you, what was that one game? There was one GTA. The music is like the original music that was on GTA 5. A lot of it's gone because of copyright now. Like a lot of the music stations, a lot of the music stations have different songs on them now than what came out when GTA 5 first came out.
In my opinion, that game's been dead for a while. They've been beating a dead horse.
Now they're making a crap ton of money off of it, but that comes from the microtransactions. People are buying because like they keep putting the game on sale. Like, I think the game by itself is like $20, and then like they keep putting discount on the shark cards or whatever.
Yeah, that gets you to bite. I know I fall for that with MLB The Show.
Oh, what do they call their microtransactions? Tickets?
No.
Something like that?
It's something. I don't remember off the top of my head. I just buy it. I don't really think too much about it.
Yeah.
I just gotta go, and I'm like, okay. The next thing you know, you go from like, $10, not bad, to hey, here's $100. Take my money so I can get this player. And it's horrible. What are the other topics we were talking?
Well, we kind of already talked about a little bit with this microtransactions as like.
I know the microtransactions, and then we were talking about games how they weren't, how they didn't, how they're not. I can't talk right now today.
How they used to be. They're not how they used to be. Just like now with AAA games, and now quadruple A.
Oh, the quadruple game. What's called
Skull and Bones from Ubisoft. Which
let down. Nothing really good comes from Ubisoft, in my opinion. I mean, what? Well, last good games that we had from Ubisoft, in my opinion, were Ezio.
Yeah, I mean the new
Assassin's Creed. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, I mean, I've only beat
Odyssey was great. I don't mean to cut you off, but Odyssey was fantastic.
Yeah, I've actually been slowly chugging along through Odyssey, especially once they added the Series XS upgrades or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a really pretty game. Like even when I played it on Xbox One X, it was still a pretty game. But just now, like games, it's all about the graphics. And I think that's why the indie scene is blowing up so much now too. I mean, Helldivers, independent studio.
But that leads to other problems with those independent, especially if they're multiplayer like that.
Yeah.
Because Helldivers 2, I didn't even know there was a Helldivers 1.
Yeah, I knew there was a Helldivers 1, but I never really played it. But this one has gotten so much
hype around it.
And hype around it.
But that also leads to the server problems because they don't expect it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're going to release a trailer and, gameplay footage, and then you have these content creators now that have
Really
early
get
access
behind.
and they get behind it,
Yeah.
and it shows that it can be fun. Not single player, in my opinion, but
Yeah.
with other people, I mean, it looks like a blast.
Well, it's kind of like with Among Us. Among Us came out in like 2018, but when COVID hit, and everyone was sitting at home in 2020.
Yeah.
It just like took off because I think that game's like $5. And
Which game?
Among Us. It's the one where you.
Oh, the Among Us.
Yeah, the imposter.
Yeah.
But see, like, no one really knows, like, when a game is going to pop off. Like, no one thought Fortnite was going to pop off when it first hit the scene.
I mean, it was just following, PUBG?
Well, see, the thing is, though, when it first came out, there was no Battle Royale. It was just the Save the World part.
Oh.
The Battle Royale came out after.
Yeah, I hated the building. I'm glad they finally have
No build.
No build. I can't do the building.
Yeah, I tried, and because I'm an OG Fortnite player, so I had to deal with the building.
I remember when we used to play, I was like, "You're gonna have to build for me."
Yeah, I would
build, I'll shoot.
Wall.
Yeah.
I put up one wall.
That's all I needed.
And then you would run away from the wall. You'd be like, "I need you to build another wall. I'm not over there with you.
Get over here. I need someone to build a wall." I eventually got to the point I could build a wall, but I still can't build a wall.
Yeah, but I've played so much zero build or no build that there's no way I can.
There's no going back.
No, there's no going back.
I mean, I've seen streamers who love that building, the no build. They moved away from building because it's just, in my opinion, a bunch of tryhards.
Well, it's not just tryhards. It's just whoever builds the most of the building that you're in, because after you build, you can change.
How you want, yeah.
You can change how you want, and that's basically what it comes down to. It's basically a giant game of war, like how we used to play as kids with the.
I feel like it's more kind of like a sandbox.
Yeah, but what I was saying though is it's
like a building sandbox, kind of like almost said Fortnite. No, like Minecraft, but you just build excessively because I mean it's the kind of the same component minus
to an extent, yeah.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say though, it's kind of like war, how we used to play like growing up before we had the internet. You youngins don't know about life before the internet.
Dial-up.
But like I was saying though, like when we used to just have you and somebody else, and y'all just split a deck of cards, and then whoever had the highest card wins. That's kind of like how the build mode is in Fortnite. Whoever has put the most into building the tower or skyscraper that is being built in the build mode.
Yeah.
Is going to be the one who, for the most part, is going to ultimately win the fight because they have more control over how the battleground is set up.
Yeah, I'm also not a big fan of the microtransactions in that either, though.
Yeah, but also that, like,
I mean, it's for skin or a dance.
Yeah, but the thing is that I can kind of understand it because it is a free-to-play game.
You say that until which I get, right?
Like, I am not.
You say that until
endorsing. I'm not endorsing microtransactions. But
you say that until you're a parent, and then your kid goes and spends hundreds or thousands of dollars on V-Bucks for skins.
Yeah,
I mean that ain't cool.
But like I said though, like I can understand why, because I mean it's a free-to-play model. They got the game. The servers cost money to run.
Yeah.
It costs money to update the game because you have to pay developers to fix issues and add content to the game. That all costs money, and these companies can't afford to not have a way to monetize. They have to be able to monetize the game in some capacity. And I think Fortnite has done a good job. At the same time, though, with the popularity of Fortnite, though, it is leaked into AAA full-price games, i.e. Call of Duty, where you're paying $70 for the game, but hey, there's a cool skin that you want. It's $20 on top of the $70 you've already put just to be able to play the game to begin with.
Yeah, no, I get it. I don't know. It's crazy how like we were talking about earlier, that games used to be you bought the game, you had the rights to it. Now everything's moving from that era of disc to a digital era, where now it's been made known quite clearly by the companies, we don't own those games.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of takes me back to what I was telling you before we started the podcast today, is that I had an account, someone had hacked into my account, bought some games and whatnot, so I canceled the card, which in turn ended up getting me banning that account on PlayStation Okay, it wasn't an account that I used all the time because at that point I was playing Xbox because all my other friends were playing Xbox.
Yeah.
And then I lost all these games. And
there's no way to fight it.
no, I remember I emailed them and I was like, hey, I lost all these games. Like, I get banning the account, but losing everything. I just want to play my single player games. These weren't online games.
Yeah.
They were single player. And I'm like that's not cool. They're like, basically,
Oh, well.
I mean, what do you want to do? Buy them again?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and that kind of brings me to the other thing I want to talk about today, too, is with... It's not specific to PlayStation, but at the same time, though, a lot of the things that we're seeing happen and come to fruition in gaming is coming from PlayStation, because PlayStation is the market leader. They're the ones that are top dogs right now. PS5 has sold really well. The PS4 sold incredibly well, but that was because Xbox fumbled the ball when the Xbox One first came out, with making it to where you had to buy an Xbox with the Kinect, and it was an additional... Well, after they came out with the Xbox with the Kinect, they took the Kinect out and it's $100 cheaper, which made it the same price as the PS4. And also the viral video of the CEO of Sony, or CEO of PlayStation, and then the president of Sony. This is how you share games on PS4. And he just hands them the actual game.
Yeah. I mean,
but no, with PlayStation, though, it's just, I feel like a lot of the... Like, they're the main reason why games are $70 now. They were the ones that were like, yeah, our games are $70 now. Deal with it.
I don't like that. And here's the reason why I don't like the increase in price. Is nowadays we're not getting complete games, like fully finished games. I mean, just look at Cyberpunk. I mean, you said it got better when it got moved to the PC.
Well, it came out at the same time on PC, but it did. I mean, on PC, there's so many more variables. Console, it's locked to... These are the specs of the hardware. Yeah. This is what's possible. But honestly, just this little side tangent about Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk should never, ever seen the light of day on Xbox One and PS4. That should have been no. Because, like, the new DLC, it's not on PS4 and Xbox One. Xbox One and PS4 players literally have the base game. That's it.
So, you say all that, which I agree.
Yeah.
But I even went back and tried to restart it over, right? So when I originally played it, we were talking, but then we were playing at the same time, like when it came out on launch date, and it froze in the first opening couple scenes.
Yeah.
When you're like driving across the bridge or whatever, it froze on me and shut me out of the entire, like, closed the entire game out. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So, I deleted it. And then it got, like, what? I lied. I didn't delete it right after that. I kept playing it because I just went back in. Because, games do it every now and again.
Yeah, but it kept happening.
Well, it wasn't even just that. There was a mission where I needed to collect something to finish the mission. It was, like, in a warehouse or some stuff. And I couldn't find it. It was nowhere. That, and then there was other times it wouldn't let me pick up stuff. And then, of course, you had the NPCs walking into the walls and all that.
And then walking like 10 feet above the sidewalk, just walking on air.
I mean, it just seems like nowadays, single player games, I think they need to make a comeback. I don't mind multiplayer games, but nowadays you have to worry about all the cheaters, which they find it fun. I don't know how.
Well, I mean, it's just like with Call of Duty and Fortnite. If you're hacking or cheating, where's the fun? Like, okay, yeah, you're able to wreck an entire lobby by yourself. Okay, cool.
But that's not because of you.
Yeah, it's because you're tampering with the game to make it benefit you specifically.
Oh, dude, I remember there was time when I was going through TikTok once, and I kept scrolling through my For You page. And people, like, streaming on TikTok were legitimately cheating. Like, showing it. I ported them. And I said port it. I reported
them. Oh, did you port them to Switch or PC?
Oh. I ported them to the delete.
But speaking of, like, single-player games coming back, this is coming from a guy that's somewhat into PC gaming now.
Yeah.
And developers or publishers, listen up. Stop putting de novo DRM in single player games. There is no reason for it. There's literally no reason because it's not a multiplayer game. It's so also too on PC, de novo actually makes the game run worse. So if the game comes out and doesn't even run good on its own, de novo DRM actually adds more stuff that has to be done in the background, which hits your graphics card, which hits your processor, which hits your RAM. All of that comes into one bit. It can make small issues into bigger issues because you have a specific section of your graphics performance that's dedicated to that DRM or digital rights management for people that don't know what DRM is.
No clue what you just said.
But yeah, so yeah, with PC gaming, it's just like I've been watching. There's a guy on YouTube. His name's No, it's Alex. Shout out to you. You're probably not watching this, but shout out to you, dude. You make some really good content. But he does a lot of PC port reviews and stuff, and he's always talking about how these single player games why do these single player games have a online DRM for a game that doesn't have DRM? Another perfect example. Kingdom Hearts on PC, which is only available through the Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
You can't play it if you're not connected to the internet. So it's completely simple.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Now I'm on to what you're talking about.
No online components whatsoever. Have to be online to play it. If you're not online, won't even boot.
It just seems like you're talking about phone games now. Like apps. Like game apps on your phone. That's where you have to be connected to the internet. So,
well, that's where these consoles are going though too. Though I mean, especially because me and you game share, and if I don't have internet, anything that I've bought, I can't play without an internet connection because it has to be able to prove that I have the license to play said game.
Isn't even your license.
Yeah, and
I like how you buy the game and it's just a license.
Yeah,
you're buying a license to play it. But what I think it should really happen, like when I lost all my games, going back real quick. I think if you're going to get rid of all the games I own and not give me a chance to at least somehow move them to my new account.
You should get a portion of the money back.
I should get a refund.
Yeah.
If you're going to take the stuff I purchased.
If you already have the money for it, the company already has the money for it.
Exactly.
But then, no, like their whole thing is, oh, well, no, it's just easier for you to buy the game over. It's like, no, that's this.
It's not easy for me. Like, it's easy for me. Y'all got to do all the work.
Yeah.
I give you the information of the old account, give you the new information for the new account.
Yeah.
Move it. Just make it available.
Yeah.
But, I digress. It's just, games aren't what they used to be. It used to be something I looked forward to.
Yeah, like I remember when we've talked about this before, but growing up, we didn't have access to like IGN or content creators that review games.
I had G4 before they went off the rail. with what Olivia Munn and all them.
Yeah,
back when it was good.
But yeah, we didn't have IGN and YouTubers and Metacritic to sit here and tell us, oh, well, this game's great, this game's terrible. Yeah. But we would just literally buy the game based on the cover art and the back of the box. There was no looking into the game unless you were subscribed to like a magazine that like specifically talked
about PlayStation Magazine and all that.
PlayStation Magazine, I think it was called.
I can't remember.
PlayStation Underground? Because I know it was the name.
I know there's a PlayStation Underground.
Yeah, I want to say that was their magazine.
No, Game Informer. It was Game Informer.
Well, Game Informer.
Well, I mean, that was when we were sitting in close to our, teens.
Teens, I think.
But Game Informer was a big one for me.
Well, yeah, because if you had a GameStop Pro membership, you automatically got Game Informer for free. It was included with your annual membership.
Yeah.
Which I never got the physical. I think I got maybe one or two in the mail physically, but then after that, like, they slowly started going to digital, and they're like, oh, well, do you want the physical or the digital? And it's like, well, I want the physical, but I haven't gotten the last 3 physical ones I was supposed to get.
I remember, because I never had internet. At least not... Actually, I never had internet growing up.
I did, but I had AOL dial-up, but, I mean, you couldn't really... I mean, you could game on it, but...
That stuff was for mother only.
Yep.
Mother dearest. So I always did, you know, disc. Disc has always been my favorite. The smell of the box, it's just not. I wouldn't say sensory overload, but it's like a core memory,
Yeah.
right? Where now it's just
And then
it's basically what way I view digital games now, right? Digital downloads and buying is just like a credit card versus cash. Cash, there's just an excitement about it. Like it's harder to break a 20.
Yeah.
But now games are like, just take here, I'm done.
Yeah.
Now I have to wait for it to download and I can play it.
But even if
it's just streamlining.
Yeah, and then now if you get the disc, the game is not on the disc. If it is, like I know for a hobby, I don't know if it's still this way now, but I know
it's just like what you were talking about. It's the license for the game in a disc. Yeah, that's all it is.
I don't know if it's still the same now, but I know games that first came out when they had the smart delivery, where it knew what system you had and which version of the game to grab. So I don't know if they still do this, but the Series S version of the game, or not Series S, the Xbox One version of the game is the game that's on the disc. The Series SX version, you still had to download the whole game because the only thing that was on the disc was the Xbox One version. And then now, I'm pretty sure most of the games now, it's literally just a license because you put the disc in, it's like, okay, connecting network to download, Cyberpunk.
Yeah, so it just feels like, how back in the day you just put in the game, wouldn't have to download it, the game was just ready to play.
Yeah.
Now I can put in a disc and now it has to basically download what already should be there again.
Well, see, I think I was reading an article not too long ago about why the games are on the disc, and it's because games are just too big, and the games are too big. Yes, they could go to like a triple layer Blu-ray disc that has enough storage to hold the version, the current system's version of the game, but that's more money for the publisher to spend, and the publishers don't want to. That's another reason why. Here's this. I know this isn't a hot take, as most people feel this way. If I'm not getting a physical version of the game should be getting cheaper, not more expensive. Like, what am I paying an extra $10 for? Oh, well, development costs have gone up.
Convenience, I guarantee you. That's what they would chalk it up to. Convenience.
Convenience, yeah.
It's convenience. I mean, everything. Like, groceries, like if I order them online, I'm going to be spending what would be $40-50. Or let's make it even more simple. Like when I bought our drinks and the medicine today, it was only $15-20 because that medicine's expensive. And it ended up being close to $40.
Yeah, because the app that you bought it through takes their cut. Then you have to pay the sales tax on top of that. And then there's like a
delivery tax.
Delivery tax. And then there's like miscellaneous fee that also goes back to. And that's before you even tip the driver.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Like, I've never understood that. Even being a kid growing up, getting like Papa John's or Domino's delivered, the delivery fee. It's like, okay.
They don't pay them enough.
Yeah, it's like, why am I paying a delivery fee? You're telling me point blank that that's not going to the driver themselves.
Yeah.
And so you're getting, $3 to $5 from me for a delivery fee, but none of that whatsoever is going to the driver. And then you want me to tip the underpaid driver.
You're just paying their salary. Is all you're doing.
Pretty much, yeah. But that's kind of everything. Everything now is about convenience, and like I said though.
So everything like we're talking about, because we're definitely going on a tangent.
Yeah.
So getting back on track though. Games, right? They're streamlined.
Yeah.
They spend all this money because they're not cheap to make. Well, which I see why they also jacked up the price is because now they're using it as a way to, because like you said, games are bigger.
Yeah.
The graphics are usually amazing if they do it right, and they're getting more intricate.
Yeah.
I bet you, for lack of better terms, more intricate.
Yeah.
With their engines and all that stuff that they use and the programs and all that stuff. But I lost my train of thought. Please.
But the thing is, though, is that if they're pushing digital downloads so hard, that's cutting out manufacturing of discs.
Yeah.
It's cutting out cases that have to be bought to put the game in. That's cutting out shipping entirely.
Mm-hmm.
So why are games going up? At the very least, they should be staying at 60. Granted, I know the price has been 60 for like 20 years, but at the same time, but also at the same time, though, they have added microtransactions into said games on top of already buying the game. So why are we paying more for less?
Let me add something else to that irritates me. High heavens, it irritates me. I hate it when you buy a game, right? A AAA game, like brand new, and then a couple months later, it's free to download. Basically, on like GameCast and all that. Yeah. That irritates me.
Yeah.
But don't even get me started on there's no good games coming out anymore. Like, I can't find a game I'm truly looking forward to. The only thing I'm looking forward to is that new South Park game, which we're definitely playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which we should definitely stream that one.
Yeah.
Just because that's going to be funny. But then on top of it, you know, it's just we wait for these reveal trailers, we get them, and then kind of like Kingdom Hearts, that Fable remake, if you want to call it that. All we have is speculation and rumor. Is a lot of things nowadays feel like they just show us, hey, look, we're making this, and then
2-3 years later, we finally get a reveal trailer, and it's not coming out for another year.
Everything's constantly getting pushed back, and that sucks because they're running into so many problems. But I think they're trying to be too overzealous and not sticking to the core of video games.
Well, and also, too, that everything does not need to be open world. Every single game does not have to be open world. You can make
a linear story
and a good world with good characters. That's the important part. Good world with good characters and good writing.
And voice acting.
Yeah, and voice acting.
Voice is the big one.
Yeah, you gotta have good voice acting.
Hey, the only two characters I've ever played, hands down, that were never had a voice other than like sounds of like their certain actions, Jack and Dexter. Well, let's rephrase Jack.
Yeah.
From Jack and the Precursor Legacy. Love that game. And then what's the Crash?
Yep.
Only couple characters that I can sit there and play mindlessly but enjoy it.
Yeah.
Is those. Yep. You know, voice acting nowadays, the dialogue is just kind of, and I don't always, I'm not going to sit here and blame the voice actors.
Yeah. Well,
because it's the writing.
It's the writing. The writing is just
it's like they hear it and they're like, okay, it's good. See you later. Here's your money.
Yeah. Yeah, and like nowadays, the writing is just, there's so many, they're putting too many minds on the same thing and then wondering why no one likes the story for these games. It's because
you talking about like too many hands and like the creativity, writing, and all that. Because we all have, and then they all argue, and then they never settle, which is why.
And it shows in the game.
It really does, and it shows when people don't care and they're just trying to do cash grabs. Anthem. Which they really dropped the ball, and I was sad with that one.
Yeah, I remember you were like, yeah, we're going to play Anthem, we're going to play Anthem. You played it for like an hour, and you're like, this game is terrible.
It's, the world was dull.
Yeah, the
lore, from what I remember, like, finding throughout the world, the lore was great, but it was
again, it's probably a game that was, well, I mean, I think there's actual, like, articles and stuff out there to say that it was not ready to be launched yet. Because like they had like a whole 2-year roadmap, and then like not even 3 months after the game came out, they're like, "Oh well, yeah, we can't do any of this now."
But we can't blame it all on the developers either, though.
Well, it's not the developers; it's the publishers.
Sometimes it's the developers.
On very seldom occasions, but
it's usually the publisher that's pushing them to be like, "Hey, we want this now."
Yep.
Okay, well, it's not done. Well, too bad. We want it now.
Yeah, you figure it out. You got X amount of.
You got like 3 months to give it to me.
Yeah.
Well, the product won't be complete. I don't care.
Yeah, we can sell it as DLC, or it's just like,
or you can patch it later if it works.
Yeah, and that's like the issue with a lot of games now. It's like, okay, put it out. People buy the game just because of whoever's name is attached to it, or if the concept is cool. People buy. As long as we put out a good trailer, good gameplay trailer, and it works in the gameplay trailer, we're good. People will buy it.
It's just no one seems to have any good creative ideas. Because you, like we talked about with last one, everything's like a remake now. You know, like The Last of Us Part Two, right? Came out a couple years ago, not
Yeah.
too long, and it already got
Remake.
no, not a remake, a remaster.
Well, yeah.
Like it's only been out a little bit. The graphics just still look good.
Well,
Like,
that and they used a lot of the things that they used to make part one of The Last of Us actual remaster of the remaster for PS5 and PC. They actually used a lot of the techniques that they learned making The Last of Us Part 2 on PS4 to make the remake or remaster of Part 1 look and feel better. And then they literally just took those same concepts and just put it on The Last of Us Part 2 and then decided to just remaster The Last of Us Part 2.
yeah, I mean, I never really liked the games anyway.
I love the first one. I haven't really played that much the second one, but there's some issues in the second one that I don't really want to even get into. But
Not on either.
yeah, but yeah, it's just like storytelling is dying in video games.
It is. I mean, you find it every now and again, like with that indie game where that one developer, Pumpkin Jack.
If you have not played Pumpkin Jack, that is a great 3D platformer. If you have not played it, I think it's like $20, and it's
Probably cheaper now.
Yeah, probably cheaper now, but I mean, it's
I think we
such
spent
a
like
good
20,
game.
30 bucks.
Yeah, it's such a good game. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, you said we were playing it together
until that one part.
Oh yeah.
Don't be surprised if they had never fixed it, but there was one part.
The crows.
Yeah, the crow skulls.
One crow skull, and
then you had to go back in and basically play the whole story again.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, which I never understood how that one works.
Yeah, so you should have given me.
That's the one thing I was missing, and I'm like, dude, I give up.
Yeah.
You found a way to do it. I'm like, I'm not doing all that. I'm not playing through a game. Like, I love the game. I play it once a year, but I'm like, recently, like, if you're trophy hunting, I'm like, I'm not playing the whole game again right away.
It's like me with what's that? Firewatch. I missed one achievement.
New game.
And it's right towards the end of the game where you get the last piece of the collectible to complete that section. But then once you go back up to the watchtower, the whole rest of the game is blocked off and you're in the end game and you can't go back to where you need to go for that, and it's just that's it. If you want to get that achievement, you have to play through the whole game again. Because there's no chapter select, there's no nothing. It's just you play it. Once you get to that point, done.
So that kind of makes me think of like Kingdom Hearts 3. How you get the Ultima Blade after completing all that stuff.
Yep.
And you get to use it at the very end of the game, and then it gives you the option of a new game plus.
And it's the one keyblade you cannot keep.
I'm like,
what was the point of going through all that if you're not going to let me just use the thing that I literally worked my butt off all through the game?
I mean, I guess it's good if you're trophy hunting.
Hey, what's up? Wow, we're doing good. It's episode 2 of the CrossPlay GameCast. We're just kind of just riffing at this point.
Yeah, I think we definitely get off track.
Yeah, we did. But I think that's part of the charm of this podcast is that like you never know what we're going to talk about. We could be talking about something that happened yesterday. We could be talking about stuff that happened 15, 20 years ago.
Okay, you're asking too much. I don't remember that far back. It's
15 years ago.
Still too far back. Let's go about
3 months ago.
It's more like about 3 days ago.
Yeah, something like that.
That's my attention span.
Yeah, Dory. Short-term memory loss.
I know. I'm just kidding. No, it's what? You looking at?
None. But
oh, okay. The computer is really far away, so I can't read everything. So I'm like having to rely on him. He's like, "Oh, nothing." I'm like leaning forward so I can read.
But yeah, it's just. I hope one of two things happens. Either these publishers get their head out of their butts and just let the developers make the game and use the vision that the developers have for said game, instead of constantly like, hey no, add this, hey no, take this out, hey no, we're gonna use that later for DLC. Just
which had already been
placeholder.
in the game.
And a lot of stuff is like it's already in the game files, but you're just purposely taking it out to charge us later on for what was already supposed to be a part of the game because you're too lazy to actually put money into actually making an actual DLC instead of, oh, well, we can just take a piece of the game we've already made and we can just charge them for that on top of it. If they like the game, then we can have that there for them to buy too.
It's just a slap in the face. But you got to think about it. We've let them get to this point, though.
Yeah, and it really is.
As a gaming community in general.
Yeah, us as the gamers, we have. I mean, I think back to Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. Back when, DLCs were the normal. Like, you want to play the new map pack? Yep.
Yeah, but I was fine with that back in the day.
But
when it wasn't my money.
Yeah, but also the thing is, though, too, is that it's been a thing that's...
We let them get away with all the transactions.
Yeah,
we let them get away with all this stuff for so long. I mean...
And they're constantly pushing the envelope, seeing how far we're going to let them go, and this is where we're at now.
Yeah. I don't know. You remember when we were kids, we could sit there and play games all day, be content with, we wouldn't even say mindless. I mean, games to me were, I hope, my escape from the world.
Yeah.
They used to be into my early adulthood, and sometimes now. But nowadays, I get on there, it just feels like a chore.
Yeah, the moments are more rare now where you're like, yeah, this is great. There's more of, what the heck is that? Why is this not working? Why am I having this issue? Why is the game crashing? And it's taking a lot of the magic away.
I mean, it really has. I mean, I love games. I love games. Like, I do love them. I love my old classics. Nowadays, like we talked about, we run into the ones that we reach a kind of a peak where we're like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah.
This is really good. Now, not often nowadays it's from, like, indie games. It feels like, AAA, in my opinion, has lost its way with a lot of aspects of it all.
Yeah. Well,
like, don't get me wrong, like, look at the masterpiece, Ghost of Tsushima. Perfect game. And then, in my opinion, you have this new, the Ronin game that's out or coming out.
Yeah, I hadn't even seen anything about that.
People say that it's great, but I look at it, I'm like, it just feels like it just seems like it's Ghost of Tsushima again, but a different story.
Yeah.
And Ghost of Tsushima is perfect, in my opinion. Perfect. Yes, there are problems, and that shows when companies care about what they're putting into the game.
Yeah.
Giving the people. Now, I'm hoping this summer, because I've heard rumors and all this stuff, that Sucker Punch, I'm pretty sure they're the ones that made that.
I think so.
Pretty sure Sucker Punch, and I'm just saying Sucker Punch because I'm like 9% sure.
9%?
9% sure. But, they gave us Sly Cooper, a bunch of other good games growing up. So hopefully this summer, when they start announcing games coming up, that will be a game that they talk about. And, because it's perfect. My curiosity is, what are they going to do now, though? Is it going to be, now there's Ronin, or not the Ronin, the Shogun are after him because now he's the ghost?
Well, thanks. I haven't finished that game.
Well, now you learned it. Spoiler warning. I should have mentioned that.
Yeah.
But technically, it didn't really ruin the game because he was the ghost anyway. But, it's just the gameplay, beautiful. The artwork, design.
Yeah, like the little bit I did play, it looked great, especially for it running on PS4.
Yeah.
It looked great for a PS. It looked great as a game in general.
Yeah. Another thing that I hate, since we were talking about PlayStation earlier, is they're streaming games.
Yeah.
I don't just let me buy the game. because I tried to stream the first three Sly Coopers, which they did the remastered basically, or
for
the
PS3.
port where they ported it from to the PS4.
PS3.
I thought they ported it for the PS4.
No,
No, you're right. You're right. But you have to stream it.
It's because the technology from between PS3 to PS4, because PS4 and PS5 are the same architecture. PS3 is completely different.
Well, I had the fiber optic internet, right?
Yeah.
And it was so laggy, frame drops, everything.
Yep.
I'm like, why do I even want to play this? Don't even get me started trying to play Jack 2.
Yeah.
That was miserable trying to drive in the city.
Even native, like if you get the PS4 version, it's still like I have it for my PS4 Pro, and there's several times where it's been just it just crashes out of nowhere, or the frame rate crashes.
I can't read.
Welcome to my world. Yeah, she exclusively plays on PC, so she gets all of the issues from being a PC gamer, which I know you don't know a lot about PC gaming, but like,
Yeah, it's on a computer. What now? I know things.
but just like PC gaming is, you're kind of your own tech support, because if something doesn't work, there's not a, oh, well, let me just wait for a patch and that'll definitely fix it. It's a, okay, well, why is it doing this? Why is my computer being like this? And you have to go, sometimes you have to go as far as looking into the files and replacing a file, because there's some games that now on PC that came out like 10, 15 years ago, you have to go in and manually replace a file. Like, perfect example, I have Toy Story 3 on PC. For the game to even boot up, I had to remove a file in the game that breaks the game. That was a part of an update, one of the last updates they put out for the game on PC. I had to remove that file in the game files just for the game to boot up.
That's yeah. I couldn't do that. I get too irritated.
But
like I'm already irritated in most games nowadays. I don't want to get irritated at having to fix the game myself.
But the trade-off is that games on PC
run smoother,
smoother, better graphics. I haven't really gotten into mods with the exception of Black Ops 3, but that's because like Black Ops 3 on Steam, you literally hit the Steam workshop and the mods are all there and they automatically go where they're supposed to go in the game.
So I always heard that GTA 5 art role playing is super fun from all the videos I've seen. But then I watched just like people actually go in and show what it's like, and it's boring.
Well, it's day-to-day life. Like, you can choose to be a firefighter, a cop, a criminal.
Yeah, I ain't doing that if I ain't getting paid in real life. What am I going to do?
That's pretty much what it is, though. It's literally role-playing.
I like it when they go and they're assassins.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that, too.
Imagine you actually get put in prison 70 years. I gotta wait. That was... I don't know, man. I just wish they'd go back to the fundamentals of games.
Yeah.
Where it was a complete game. Yes, it had its little glitches and problems and bugs and stuff. But it was a complete game. You can sit there and play through it and enjoy it.
Well, they've gone away from the three pillars of what I consider for a good game.
Cheap.
Good writing, good gameplay, and just
story. Oh, wait, that's writing, I guess.
Yeah. Well, good story / writing.
Yeah.
Good gameplay, and just a good art style. A lot of the games are like made in this ultra realistic art style, and it's like all games don't have to be like that. Granted, there are a lot of games that aren't like that, but at the end of the day, that most games go for that ultra realistic art style, and a lot of times it hurts the game because the performance drops drastically because everything's hyper realistic, everything's photorealistic, everything has to look a specific way, the lighting has to be a specific way for it to look the way it needs to look.
I'm not a big fan of like super realistic games when it comes to graphics like that. Like, yes, I enjoyed them, right? But I still I don't want to think, oh, this is real life.
Yeah.
Games are meant to be kind of like an escape, at least to me. Games are an escape to go do what I like, be somebody else.
Well, at the end of the day, it's
shut my mind off and just it is.
And it's gotten away from being entertainment because a lot of the games they're playing now are not entertaining. They're just time fillers at this point. You're not really getting anything out of it. You're just using it to waste time.
I can't.
Oh, it's just emotes.
Okay, okay. I see it now. It just looked like a foot in the ear.
Foot in the ear.
It really does look like a foot in the ear from my distance.
I know, it's like this, and then another one's like...
Oh, I know things. But, I mean, shoot. I don't even know where to go because you can talk about this forever.
Yeah, and you can just go down all the different rabbit holes and the tangents for it, but at the end of the day, just games are not what they used to be, which is like the whole thing of this podcast is just
Right.
games just aren't what they used to be. Like, you know,
Life ain't what it used to be too.
yeah, I mean, $70 games on a on a budget of what the average person makes today is not great. It's just GG.
That means good game.
I was going to do you not know what that means?
Either that or good gas. I'm just kidding. I'm not that stupid. No,
It's, everything is just
complicated.
Well, no, honestly, you can break it down to this: these companies, they don't care about a good story. They don't care about good gameplay. They care about money.
Which blows my mind, right? They care about money, right?
That's
But
why.
how are they going to give us? Well, I guess they still make their money.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you get these streamers and people who get those early access to the games,
Yeah.
that's another thing. We'll talk about this after this point. Remind me of that because we're going to talk about streamers and when they get the early releases. I hate how they stream it.
I think we can do that in the next podcast.
I don't want to wait. But it costs tons of money to make games.
Yeah.
Which everybody knows costs a lot of money now.
To make a AAA game.
Well, that's mainly what we get nowadays.
Well, that's the one.
And
that
that's
get the
usually
most, that's the ones that get the most airtime or just the most eyes on them is AAA games.
Yeah. Is she dead? I see a skull.
That's not me, smiley face.
How are you reading this stuff?
Not that. You did the smiley face.
Well played.
Some of us aren't blonde.
Some of us aren't sitting right next to a daggone computer screen.
I can see it sent from over there.
I can see it. I just can't make it out. There's a very big difference.
Keep popping out of this. You're even on the easy ones.
Donnie, the movies need to go back to how they used to be too.
As the entertainment in general has gotten away from it's just like with video games, you don't see a lot of games that take risks anymore. Like, I mean, honestly, one of the biggest like financial gains that a game got. Hey, what's up, Flip?
You know too many people.
Yeah,
I don't.
But yeah, one of the biggest financial risks was when Call of Duty World at War came out. The zombies mode was an afterthought, and now it's like its own big massive thing now because the zombies is so huge with Call of Duty now.
Yeah.
With the exception of the one they put in MW3, that sucks.
You've always liked zombies.
Buddy.
Oh hey.
Welcome to the podcast. Episode Dose.
You're talking to them and not me. That's cool. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, just like there's these publishers don't want to take risks anymore because all they care about is that bottom line.
Yeah.
It's like we will never get another. I don't think we will ever get a AAA game to the tune that Jack and Daxter, Kingdom Hearts. Like I watched a video the other day. I think I showed it to you. Just we're never going to get another weird crossover like Kingdom Hearts again because at the time that was when all these developers were taking or publishers were taking risks on new ideas and new directions, and now it's just everything's cookie cutter.
Well, it doesn't help everything super PC as well nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, but going back to like Final Fantasy.
Thank you, Wild.
You're welcome.
What?
Oh, you called me wild.
No, I'm talking to Wild in the chat.
Well, he's not that wild. I didn't hear him.
She.
Dang it. Whoopsie.
Yeah, like right now we're just talking about how like games just aren't how they used to be, and just like when we were growing up, gaming being a gamer was like looked down on, but like the ones people that actually played games like knew just how great an escape that games used to be, and now it's just like I just said, everything's cookie cutter. This company's copying this company, that company's copying another
I
company.
mean, that's really any ideas. I mean, streamers, YouTubers, everybody. Technically, no, and I, in my opinion, no idea is original.
Yeah, that's also
Because you get
very
the
true.
idea from somebody else, but now
Or
everybody's
the
pointing
idea's already been
fingers.
done,
Yeah, I mean, somebody's done the idea at some
and it's
point.
just everyone else just one-upping that idea and one-upping that
Yeah.
idea until you hit a ceiling.
When they change stuff up, it's like, hey, let me copy your homework real quick, and you change some things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is.
That's pretty much.
That's the same thing with games.
And we're not saying that there's anything wrong with content creators. I mean, this right here is content creation.
Now, is it good content?
Bunch of needs right there. Now you got millionaire streamers. Yeah, like I remember the first time I started doing streaming, I did it on a freaking OG Xbox One with the crappy Kinect camera with the terrible Twitch integration on said Xbox One, and a lot of crashes, a lot of times where my stream just would not come up.
Just called me a nerd. I don't like
Nerds, not needs.
that. What do you need? You need nerds?
No,
Why? You need nerds to make games.
I'm right here.
Make a
But,
game. Make a game. You've done crossed that line. There was a line and you crossed it. Make a game.
I mean, I did in high school, but I read a book to do it because it was game design class.
See? No ideas original.
Yeah. But it's
Everybody takes inspiration from
that's what
something else.
That's what I was going to say. Like today, it's not about having an original idea. It's about
Making an idea better.
Yeah, making an idea better, or just taking an idea that's been done and running a completely different direction with it, and instead of the original course that the original creator had in mind. I mean, look at all different remakes of Robin Hood that we've gotten in movies,
or something that let's say Sucker Punch made the first couple Sly Coopers, right? The first three.
Yeah.
And then now, even now, you have other gaming companies coming in because they go to move on to a different project.
Yeah.
And then they try to take over the mantle and they just don't deliver.
It doesn't work.
Well,
I mean, they tried it with.
But the only game that I personally know that did work was Spider-Man. From Spider-Man 2, you remember that? With the awesome
Treyarch?
Yeah, now it's Treyarch's not doing it, it's Insomniac, which I have a lot of faith in Insomniacs.
I do too, but at the same time, though, I am aggravated because we will never get a Sunset Overdrive 2. That game was the whole reason I bought an Xbox One. Hey, what's up, She-Woman? But, yeah, it sucks because, they were in talks to do a sequel, but now Insomniac is owned by PlayStation. Which means now all we're going to get is more Spider-Man games. They're probably just going to shelf Sunset Overdrive and they'll probably never see the light of day again.
I'm fine with that.
You didn't like Sunset Overdrive?
Yeah. I'm stuck on a part and I was like, I give up.
Wow.
Hey. Now I loved Infamous. They kind of...
Infamous was Sucker Punch.
I know, but I'm saying I loved Infamous.
Oh, yeah.
It's not all about Insomniac, okay?
I did like how they his Infamous Second Son.
Didn't like that one.
Really?
I played it, I beat it, platinumed it, or whatever you want to say. Then it had no drive. That game, I played through it, I enjoyed it, but it had no, in my opinion, replayability.
Well, yeah, because it was a semi-linear story progression. I mean, you had each part of the different.
You can't say that though. You can't say that though, and here's why. Because I bet you, if I were to throw down Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Dexter, one of those games that we grew up playing, I guarantee you could sit down and play it again, and you would enjoy it.
That's true. Yeah, but that is a problem with modern day games. There's not a lot of games that have that replayability. Yeah, it's you beat it once, just like you were saying with Spider-Man 2. You beat it, you platinumed it, and then it's just
I just wait for a DLC to come out to platinum it again.
Yeah.
Which I think is stupid because I remember I played a game, platinumed it, and then God of War, and then they released God of War Ragnarok.
And you already had the platinum.
I already had the platinum. Now I lost the platinum.
Really?
I think you do.
No, I'm pretty sure if you...
No, because it showed all the other achievements I had to do. It wasn't just for Valhalla. It's all part of the trophies.
Oh, okay.
So I think I have to re-platinum the whole game.
You probably
I think you keep the trophy as you already platinum the basically when
but
it was
to
out.
get 100% on the game,
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
You had to beat the DLC to get
Which,
to say 100%.
Valhalla was great. Don't get me wrong. Replayability, it got boring. You just kept doing the same thing about 4 to 6 times.
Yeah.
It takes you about 6 hours to beat the thing, if not longer. If you go around and try to discover.
Feeling fuzzy brain. Went to sleep at 7:30 a.m. LOL. How are you? How are you? I thought I said y'all.
I thought you could read.
Sometimes.
That's what I thought. You're making fun of me because I'm over here.
Yeah, we're good though. Like I said, we are back with the podcast. This is episode 2 of CrossPlay GameCast. We don't really have a script for this. But we just kind of talk about whatever. Yeah, we just wing it. We talk about whatever we want to talk about.
I wouldn't say we completely wing it though. I say we kind of pre-plan. We, as we like to call it, brainstorm.
Yeah, and it's usually 5 to 10 minutes before you go live.
Can we trademark that?
No. That's like the Fine Brothers when they tried to patent or trademark Reaction Channel.
Okay, what about like Brain Blast?
That's Jimmy Neutron.
R.I.P.
You mean R.I.P.?
You see any Jimmy Neutron things being made?
No, that's probably a good thing. Look at
I miss Jet Fusion. That just brought that up. Thanks for reminding me. That's one where you say Jet Fusion. It's literally.
Yeah. I remember that now.
It was my favorite one. I hated Attack of the Twonkies.
Yeah, that was a weird, because you had a bunch of different gadgets you could use, but they were like clunky to
That was the first one too.
Oh, well.
I remember like those games were so difficult for the platforming because everything was
the
touchy.
Camera.
I hated Crash when it came to running away from the boulder.
Like, I remember, like, when I was a kid, I could nail it. Now, as an adult, even playing the remaster,
Can't do it.
Yeah, like, I'll sit there and I'll...
Even with the thumbstick, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, it's like when the remastered collection first came out, they had to go back and add or make the shadow bigger. That way you could see where you were going to land at better, but it still didn't help me. That first boulder level on the first Crash probably took me like 4 or 5 tries to get through because I kept miss doing the jumps over the holes.
Now, if they would have flipped the screen, right? Or like put it where it was behind you, kind of third person, instead of running at, I would have probably enjoyed that level so much more.
But you also got to think, though, the remasters of the original games, that was not a possibility to do on the PS1.
Yeah.
So they were just kind of keeping it true.
I could argue that. Well, actually, I don't think I could.
No, you can't.
No, I don't think I would.
They were very limited. Just like the foliage and the jungle levels on the sides of the screen. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff's not even
Well, which one
there.
came out first? You know the
You
game.
mean Crash 1?
No, not Crash 1. I know when Crash 1 came out in the 90s. No, Tomb Raider. They came out around the same time, didn't they?
I believe Tomb Raider was a launch title for the PS1.
Boom. You were running away from that. You can tell me they couldn't have it.
Well, yeah, that game had tank controls too, meaning everything was done by the directional pad. You couldn't run and turn at the same time. No, you could run and turn at the same time with Crash.
Okay, well, yes, but no, what I'm saying is
turn and then move.
What's so wrong with that?
It's slow and clunky and a product of its time. That's why.
Well, that's how games are now, it feels like. I digress. Next subject. I don't know, man. It's just depressing seeing where this is heading.
Yeah.
In a way. Like our favorite little slogan, we love to say, games are not for the gamers anymore.
No.
They're money grabs.
Well, I mean, because it's went from being what are people going to like to what is the mass majority going to like how big of a net can we cast to get as much revenue back from what we're putting into it?
Yeah. And then I tell you, when they show like game trailers and then it shows the game like everything looks great and then boom, hey look, this looks like trash.
Yeah. Oh, a perfect example of that was Watch Dogs.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Because they showed
But for some reason, I was thinking watch puppies.
Watch. Hush puppies, we going to Long John Silver.
Go on, hush puppy. Yeah, no.
But no, like they showed it. What was it called? I don't forgot the name of the thing.
You know, it's that
E3.
one thing. Yeah, that
Yeah,
thing.
E3. They showed a trailer for it at E3, and it looked one way, but then when it actually came out, it was completely the graphics weren't as good as they said it was going to be. Plus, the gameplay they captured was from like a high end PC at the time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like the console versions, which was at the time was where a lot of publishers put where they were trying to get their money from was console players.
Yeah.
Now more people are switching to PC because, I mean, for the most part, PC is better in every aspect. But you're also the cost to entry to get the better graphics. So, I mean, you can build a PC that has PS5, Xbox Series specs for about $600, but that's still $100 more than just getting the box, hooking it up. You're good to go.
Convenience.
Yeah, it's convenient that, but I mean also now though a lot of companies are coming up of being PC building companies.
Yeah.
Like you just pick your parts, they put it together and send it to you. But the problem with that is that not all of them, but some of the companies that do build computers, they slack on actually putting the PC together, and then when people get the PC, there's something that's not connected right, so
Yeah.
it doesn't even boot. So then you have to either try to troubleshoot it yourself or send it back, and then now you're waiting 2-3 more weeks for them to fix something that shouldn't have been broken in the first place.
You know, that makes me think about how did Sony not see, or let's rephrase, how did Sony not foresee the, you know, people wanting to buy the PS5? I've always just wondered how they not foresee it. Now, yes, I know COVID hit.
Well, it wasn't even just COVID. It had nothing to do with
With
that.
the production, there was like,
No, it wasn't the production either. It was
There-
scalpers. Scalpers. Anytime, anywhere a PlayStation 5 was relisted or was listed for sale again, these not scammers. Well, they pretty much were scammers, but
yeah,
these
then they
scalpers.
charge it.
Now these scalpers would build a bot program to know when like Best Buy or Walmart or anywhere would have stock, and they'd buy up all the stock. There was actually a whole Discord server of scalpers that was like, oh, well, hey, I live in this area. They don't have any PS5s. Is anybody wanting to sell me some so I can upsell them where I'm at? And there was like
I'll give you part of the profit.
pretty much.
That should be illegal.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Apparently not.
But well, I mean, there's loopholes to everything. I mean,
Ain't that the truth? Even the Constitution has loopholes somewhere.
but yeah, just
I don't know.
yeah, the whole thing with PS5 it had nothing to do with production. It had to do with they couldn't keep up with demand because
Yeah.
scalpers were buying. I mean, for 2 years, people were paying $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 for the PS5 just because the scalpers were the ones that were getting a hold of the consoles, and they were having to buy them directly from scalpers instead of being able to pay MSRP for the actual box.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Is it that? And then, like, I've seen tons of things where, like, the HDMI port, right, would
Yeah,
go
they-
bad on it. And
Because
then
they would tamper with them. They would actually sit there and make it to where one of the pins that was holding the HDMI port to the motherboard
was slightly off.
Yeah, they make it to where it's about to break off, and that way, after a couple times of someone putting an HDMI cord in, pulling it out, it'd break that pin, and then boom,
And then you
HDMI
couldn't
port
get
doesn't
the
work.
And then I'm pretty sure you couldn't get the part either.
No, you can get the part, but it requires you'd have to take it to somebody unless you know how to solder. If you don't know how to solder,
I know how to solder.
you
Not
have
good,
to-
but I know
yeah.
how to do it.
but yeah, you would have to go to a repair place and get
Yeah.
them to do it, and that's like another $100
Yeah,
on top of already paying $600 to $1,000 to get the thing
ain't
in
no
the first
console worth it
place.
to me.
No.
No.
PC, yes, because PCs can look really, really good when, like, if you haven't seen any videos of like PC ultra settings for a game,
Yeah.
you need to look into it because the games just look insane. But people are also to run that they have like $1,600, $2,000 setups.
Yeah. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna ask you this because I've always been curious. What game in recently do you think is the biggest flop that was hyped up so well, but then it just didn't turn out? It wasn't worth it.
Starfield.
Don't break my heart. I'm trying to forget that game. It's forgettable. It's a forgettable game.
Yeah, because
No, it was a great concept, but it was dead.
Well, there was too much hype around it. They were like, "Oh, well, this, and this is." I mean, they just had different talking points that have been talked about too many times or too many other games. So, like, biggest game we've ever made, biggest world. It's like, okay, yeah, but you should have put an asterisk next to that because a lot of it's procedurally generated.
So it's a pretty, for the most part, pretty linear game if you think about it, right?
Oh yeah.
Because you know how you had to get to a certain world before you can even travel to a different one.
Yeah.
You couldn't just go to any one you wanted at any time until you unlocked basically the travel points between it. So I couldn't fast travel or fly a ship or anything. And I'm like, that's so stupid. You know, now that PC game, what's it called? Star Citizen?
I've heard of it.
I don't know. That game looks really good. I mean, you fly the ship and everything. I even seen like this one streamer girl, and she has like the control.
All the flying sticks.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that looks dope. I wish I had that.
I've really been wanting to get into. I want to build a racing sim.
Hell no. That's too expensive.
Not really. I mean, yeah.
You talking about the one with like the seat moves and everything?
Don't even have to be the seat move. Just like the pedals and the steering wheel.
See, I wouldn't want that because I have a feeling I'd mess up and then it'd be a little too realistic and then it goes flipping me. Have you seen the ones where like they flip?
They lean too far to like.
No, I've seen one. I swear I've seen one where you're sitting in the chair and your car rolls over. It rolls you over too.
Well, I've seen it where it like doesn't completely roll you, but it like jerks you completely to one side very heavily.
I've seen like the steering wheel, right? Connection to how it jerks back and forth. I'm like, I couldn't do that, especially if you have it like if you have it set pretty realistic, you're gonna break your daggone hand. I'm not doing that. And yeah, I said daggone. This is the PG show.
What are you looking at?
I don't know, but I thought it'd be cool to smolder that way.
Smorter?
I don't know. What? I'm all here, but I wasn't listening to a single thing.
Yeah, I think that's a good stopping point for this episode. I
mean, it will probably end up on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Edit it.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna add some more flair to it. Hopefully it looks better.
Not flair, okay? We're about pizzazz in this place.
Pizzazz.
Jazz fingers.
Jazz hands.
Makes me think that's my boy. It gets knocked out. That dude.
But yeah, thanks to everyone for watching this live on Twitch. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, don't forget to drop a comment, subscribe to the channel.
Give a like.
Yeah, and give a like.
Or dislike. I'll take either one at this point. But you should definitely tell them what our YouTube is.
Yeah, so our YouTube is at CrossPlay Life. Mm-hmm. And you can find, and we're going to have every podcast episode over on there. We're going to try to add a little editing to it to make it a little bit cleaner.